Welcome students in my second lecture of financial markets and services. Myself Dr. Shashi Gupta from IMS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So, today we are going to discuss about the monetary policy. In the earlier lecture we had discussed about RBI and now monetary policy. This is also one of the tool for in the hands of central bank for controlling the credit. So, it is also related to the RBI. Now, let us talk what is the meaning of monetary policy. So, monetary policy, it is basically it deals with money supply, it deals with the availability of cost or availability of money into the market. So, through the monetary policy is a such type of instrument through which RBI controls the monetary matters in an economy. Now, the monetary policy, it refers to use of instrument within the which are in the control of central bank to influence the aggregate demand for goods and services. It provides various types of instruments which help in controlling the credit, which help in controlling the supply of money, which help in increasing or decreasing the demand for goods and services in an economy. So, ultimately the objective of monetary policy is to maintain a balance or equilibrium between the demand and supply conditions of goods and services, as well as in the demand and supply of money into the economy. So, it deals with the monetary system of the country. So, RBI through monetary policy controls, directs and guides the various methods of cost and use of money and credit. That means, through this measure, through this instrument, the RBI guides and it controls the availability of money and credit into the economy. Now, the central bank of the country, being a central bank of a country, RBI, it helps in formulating the operating monetary policy of the India. Now, next, before discussing the measures of money stock, what is money stock? Any idea? So, the money stock is the availability of money into the market. How does the RBI measures the money availability into the market? So, for measuring the availability of money, now what does, there was an economist John Maynard Keynes. So, he was an economist. He wrote in his book why people keep money in hand why not store value, why not people store value in gold, diamond or land. So, why not people do this? Why they want to keep money in hand? So, this is John Maynard Keynes, he said that there are three motives. He told three motives behind this. He said there are three motives that the people want to keep money with themselves. So, first is transaction motive. People want that as and when they require money, they should have money in their hands. And the other is precautionary motive. Precautionary motive that means for impulsive buying, for any kind of emergency situation, there should be money in hand with the people and they can utilize it as and when it is required by them. Then third, he said ki there is speculative motive. Speculative so speculative means ki there are some people who want to that if the prices of gold will come down, prices of gold it will come down, they would invest in the money. If the prices of diamond would come down, they would invest their money into diamonds. And if the prices of the land or property will come down, then they would invest money into the land, gold or diamond. So, there are these with these motives. So, the people like to invest their money into the various assets. Now, we were discussing about the measures of money stock, that means how does RBI measures the supply of availability of money into the market. So, it measures the money stock into the market, because there is some of the money which the people want to keep into their pockets, some of the money they want to keep into the assets, some of the money they want to keep with the bank. So, there are four measures of money stock like M1, M2, M3 and M4. Now, if M1 is, these are the measures of money stock. M1 is, this is equal to currency with the public, currency with the public, plus demand deposits plus other deposits. So, currency with the public is the amount of money which is available in the hands of in the pockets of the people, which the people are keeping into their keeping with themselves, which they are not investing into the bank or anywhere. So, that is the currency with the public. These are the notes and coins which are available with the general public. Then demand deposits. Demand deposit is the amount of money which is available in current account and saving account. Demand or deposit means as and when the demand for money arises, these people can liquidate this amount from the bank. Okay. So, demand deposit is any deposit which can be withdrawn from the bank through check. Then other deposits. Other deposits means RBI is there. So, RBI, what does RBI do? RBI keeps the money of the government RBI has money of the government, then it also keeps the reserves of commercial bank. Apart from this, RBI also has, excluding these funds, excluding these reserves, RBI has other deposits of, like say IDBI, ICICI, HDFC and SIDBI. So, RBI also has deposits of these bank. So, apart from this, the RBI also has the money available from IMF and World Bank. RBI also has money of these banks. So, all the money, this money of is known as the other deposits which are available with RBI. Now, so all this is included into M1, yani M1 is the currency with the public, yani circulation of rupee and small coins, then demand deposits and other deposits with RBI. These other deposits, they include all the other deposits of IMF, World Bank aid, or the funds of IDBI, ICICI, HDFC, and these banks with the RBI, they are included in the other deposits. They excludes government deposits with RBI and the reserves of commercial banks with the RBI. Now, next moving on the M2. What is M2? M2 is M1 plus post office saving bank deposit. So, some people post office saving bank deposit, they are like some people, they want to keep their savings into the post office. They want to keep their money into the post office savings, and which can be liquidated by them as and when required by them. So, M1 and M2, these two are narrow concepts of monetary stock. The M3, next is M3, that includes M2 plus time deposit with bank or fixed deposits with bank. M3 is the M2 plus time deposit. So, time deposits are, these are the deposits which are for a specific period of time with the bank. Then coming on M4, that is M3 plus M4. So, M2 and M3 and M4, these are the broader concept. And M1 and M2, they are narrow concept. Means M1 is included in M4 plus your total post office deposit. Time deposits with post office, they are also included in this. Now, next, this was all about the measures of money stock. Now, let us moving on the objectives of monetary policy. What are the objectives of question arises? Okay, what are the objectives of monetary policies? Why such policies, such rigorous exercises are done by the RBI? So, the first primary objective of RBI is to maintain the exchange rate stability, to promote the economic growth and stability. These are the primary objective. And how does these objectives, they are fulfilled by RBI? That comes to the other objectives of monetary policy. Now, First is the promotion of saving and investment. This is the first objective of monetary policy. Here if the central bank wants to promote the savings of the people, it wants to promote investments in the economy. If so, in that case what would happen? It has to increase the higher the rate of interest in the economy, higher would be the saving, higher would be the investment, and the higher would be the amount of free cash flows into the economy. So, next is the controlling the exports and import. Through monetary policy measures, central bank tries to reduce the import, it tries to increase the exports. So, by providing low cost loans to the export oriented units, the RBI can substitute imports with the exports. It tries to substitute import with the export because when exports would increase, it is going to improve the situation of balance of payment. Balance of payment, it is a system of dual entry account where exports and imports are recorded. These are recorded. Now, next is managing business cycle. Through the monetary policy tool, the monetary authorities, they try to manage the business cycle. In business cycle we have two conditions, boom and depression. During the boom, during the inflation, RBI, what does RBI does? RBI tries to reduce the available supply of money is reduced in the market. Monetary supply is reduced in the market, and when the supply of money is reduced in the economy, so the inflation comes down, and at the time of depression, monetary authorities, they increase the supply of money into the market for improving the demand for goods and services. And if demands for goods and services will rise, so that is going to increase the and the availability of the credit, that also increases into the market. Then next is regulation of aggregate demand. Through this, RBI monetary authorities, they tries to regulate the demand for goods and services. If the RBI wants to increase the demand for goods and services, so it increases, what does it do? It reduces the, RBI reduces the rate of interest and thereby increasing the availability of credit into the economy, and that would help in increasing the demand for goods and services. Ultimately, the demand for goods and services is going to rise with this, and if the monetary authority wants that the demand for goods and services into the economy, that has to be reduced. So, for that they would increase the rate of interest, and they would further the availability of the credit, that would also be that would be reduced in the economy, and the ultimately it would lead to decrease in the demand for goods and services. This way the monetary authorities tries to maintain an equilibrium between demand and supply. Then generation of employment. Here the monetary authorities tries to provide low cost fund to small scale industries, to small organization, which help in promoting these industries and generating employment. Next, helping the development of infrastructure. If for developing the infrastructure, the low cost, low interest rate funds are provided to this particular sector for the growth of the infrastructure. Then next is the allocating more credits to the priority sector. Priority sector of an economy includes agriculture, then in the priority sector, rural areas, development of these rural areas, then development of underdeveloped sections of society. So, for developing these areas, for developing these sections of the society, the RBI focuses on the priority areas. How RBI sanctions more loan at the lower rate of interest to such areas. Then next is allocating, managing and developing the banking sector. The RBI has to manage and develop the banking sector also. Banking industries like RBI, it is the role of and function of central bank to promote the such areas, such development of such areas. Like in banking system, time to time technological updates, they are also incorporated by the central bank through monetary policies. Okay. All those banking sector, they are developed through this economy. Now next, moving on the instruments of monetary policy. There are two instruments, general methods and selective methods of credit control. General methods, they are qualitative methods of credit control, and selective methods, they are the quantitative methods of credit control. Now, among the general methods, first is the reserve ratios. This is one of the technique through which monetary central bank tries to control the supply of money into the market. So, CRR, first is the CRR, it is the cash reserve ratio. CRR is the minimum reserve, minimum percentage of reserve which is required to be kept by commercial banks with the RBI as in the liquid form. Like suppose CRR is now 3%. Now the RBI has kept CRR as 3%. It means 97% of funds are there which would be available with the RBI for lending and borrowing activity. These funds would be available, 97% funds would be available for lending and borrowing activity, and the commercial bank cannot earn any amount of interest or any amount of income over this money. Now next, moving on the SLR, it is the minimum amount of fund which are kept as a reserve with the commercial bank in the form of liquid assets like gold or government securities or government securities. So, these are the funds which are kept in this form. Next is open market operation. It is referred to as purchase and sale of various types of assets like foreign exchange, gold and government securities. If RBI buys such securities from the market. Through this RBI tries to increase the supply of money in the market, and if RBI sells these securities into the market, so RBI tries to reduce the supply of money into the market. So, that is one of the tool. Next, moving on, the selective credit control. So, selective credit control, it provides direction of the credit to the direction of cost and availability of credit. Then it is designed specifically to curb excess in the selected area without affecting the type of credit, which type of credit it is. Then it is an attempt to achieve a reasonable stabilization of prices particular commodities on demand side by regulating the availability of bank credit and purchasing and holding them. Next, there are certain tools of selective credit control. First is margin requirement, Morel-Suzanne and selective credit control. Like margin requirement is the minimum margin which is required by the bank. If that margin is increased by central bank, so under that situation the borrowings would be affected. The less people would like to borrow if the lending norms has been raised by the RBI. Then Morel-Suzanne, here through persuasion RBI persuades the commercial bank for investing money into the liquid assets, into the government securities, keeping their money into the government securities. Then selective credit control is specifically designed for the selected sector. Like if there is inflation into a particular sector of the economy, in that for that sector the government would stop providing credit, or it would raise the rate of interest on loan. Then and if there is some underdeveloped section of the society, so the government would try to reduce the rate of interest. Then next is market stabilization schemes. These schemes operate through bank rate, the interest rate at which the RBI provides fund to the commercial banks, and it is uses the liquidity adjustment facility which is applied through repo rate. And if the RBI commercial banks does not follow the bank rate provided by the RBI, to under that situation the penalty can also be imposed on the various banks. Now, liquidity adjustment facility, it is performed through repo rate and reverse repo rate and marginal standing facility. Repo rate is short term borrowing of commercial bank from RBI. Commercial bank, they borrow funds on for short term basis. Reverse repo rate is the RBI pays to the bank to in order to keep additional funds in RBI. Reverse repo rate, this is equal to repo rate minus 1. Then marginal standing facility, which is the fund provided by RBI to the commercial bank at the time of emergency for overnight basis. Then marginal standing facility, it is equal to repo rate plus 1. Then next is there are certain limitations of monetary policy in the developing countries, like underdeveloped money and capital market. Without this also it cannot be exercised effectively and efficiently into the country. Then no integrated rate of structure is there. Apart from this, the cooperation between the there is lack of cooperation between the commercial banks, and banking habits of the people are like they do not want to put their money into the banks, they want to keep it with themselves into their pockets. Then there is illiteracy rate is high in the developing countries, so there are lots of social obstacles, like people's superstition in taking loans and other things, in investing banks. They feel that their money could be lost by investing into the banks. So it creates a problem. Then there are certain recent changes into the indicators of monetary policies, and recently due to pandemic situation, the RBI on 27th March has made these changes, like CRR has been done to 3%, SLR 18%, repo rate is 4.54%, reverse repo rate 3.75%, and marginal standing facility has been kept at 4.65%, bank rate has been kept at 4.65%. So overall we can say time to time RBI revises the policy, like in the recent scenario. If we talk about this scenario, on 27 March the policies were revised, on 17th April the policies were revised, and this way the RBI tries to maintain a control over the monetary policy. Till now what we have studied: what is the monetary policy, what are the measures of monetary policies, their objectives and the functions of monetary policies, what are the techniques of monetary policy through which the control is exercised by the RBI. So all these methods, they lead towards the efficient and smooth functioning into the banking system, into the monetary system of the country. Thank you.